Hello, I'm Sushi. I have been a follower of Jesus for 40 years this year, and I've been a member of SCF for 21 years. I was born in Malaysia, and my claim to fame is that my parents eloped to Gretna Green to get married, which is a bit weird, I guess. I was brought up in Malaysia, and when I was very young, I was brought up as a Catholic because my mum was a Catholic. But following their divorce, I kind of reverted to Hinduism because my mum left us to return to Europe. When I was 18, I came to the UK to continue my studies. I didn't have a particularly good childhood. My father remarried and didn't really get on with my stepmother particularly well. And so I was quite happy to leave home at 18. And I was on my own in a boarding school, which was fine. And when I finished studying, I went to university, and it was there that I met Jesus. I was introduced to Jesus, and I decided to follow him. So that was a very long time ago. And my journey has been very varied, gone up and down England, living in different places, Cheshire, Lake District, Norfolk, but Shirley is the place I've lived in the longest. I married, I've got 2 children, Mike and Sumi, and when they were quite young, I got divorced, I'm afraid, and I ended up moving to Norfolk, and that was a very difficult time because I moved with 2 young children with no support structure in my new place, although I did find a very good church. God has always blessed me in that way. So I met Steve, and Steve is not a follower of Jesus. And we got married, and I moved up to Shirley, and I started coming to SCF and became a member in 2000. In fact, although Steve's not a follower, he was actually key in where the bridge is actually built, and not a lot of people know this. His client owned the land on which the bridge now is built, and he told me about this piece of land that was coming up for sale because his client had gone into liquidation and was selling the building and the land. So I can remember standing on the iron gates looking over into this piece of land on which there was a dilapidated old building and thinking this will be a good place. At which point I saw some of the elders and just mentioned it, and the rest is history. And that's a much longer story. But suffice to say, that was the beginning of the structure, which we now call the bridge. In my time at the bridge, I've been involved with lots of different groups. I've helped with worship. I have been on hospitality. I've helped with Messy Church, Pass It On, the Craft Cafe, and more recently, Babies at the Bridge, which I absolutely love. So 2020 was a very challenging year for all of us. Unprecedented isolation, loss, but God has been very good. He has blessed us with summer, lots of vegetables grown this year, and in October he blessed us with our first grandson, Vinny, and he is a pleasure and a joy. And we are quite involved in helping with his day-to-day, 3 or 4 times a week if we're lucky. And so we are blessed. The home groups and the church groups and technology have really helped to keep us together. Had this been 10 years ago, it might be a different kettle of fish altogether. But there's nothing more encouraging than to post on a group a prayer need and almost immediately find prayer hands coming back saying, we're standing with you shoulder to shoulder. So 2021, who knows? Who knows? God knows. God knows. But through all the times when God has taken us through trials and tribulations, I remember that in my darkest times, God has said to me, I am the rock under your feet. If you can't see me, it doesn't matter, because I'm still there. And when it's tough, I am testing you. And I will never test you beyond what you can bear. So I leave you with God's blessing and keep safe.